everybody, welcome back to our Tuesday Talks.
Yes, welcome back for another video.
Today we are coming live from
the office.
So we have a change of venue just to spice things up.
Yep.
You know,
Change it up a little bit.
Okay, so our first few episodes we really got into what got us into our business, how we do, or I guess really not how we do it, but how we got into it and the different things we've done before.
Right.
But today we really want to talk to you about one particular experience in our reselling business we've come across.
Exactly. So we've tried a lot of different things, a lot of different types of things, and one of them is
pallets.
A liquidation pallet.
Okay, so
super exciting.
It is actually it was kind of interesting and kind of fun, but there's not. Sorry, the crowd. I haven't eaten yet. Okay. Anyway, off track. So, if you've ever considered doing pallets, it's not for the faint of heart.
It is not. If you ever watched the TV shows, I don't know if they do them anymore.
Was it called Unboxing?
I think it was called Unboxing.
It was on what, TLC or something like that?
Something like that.
You know, well, we did it before it was popular, just so you know.
Yeah, before it was even a thing on TV.
Yeah. So we got a pallet.
We did. It was basically like Amazon returns, I think, is the majority of what we got in there. But you bought an entire pallet, and the one we picked up was manifested, or at least partially manifested, so you could kind of see what you were going to get in it. But you didn't get a good look at the items. I've got another video. I think one of the things we talked about was they give you a picture from the top of this pallet, so you see the couple things on top, but that's about it. Yeah.
So really, some important things.
The dog.
Yeah, it's a dog. So if you hear that, I'm sorry. That's the dog breathing. Okay. So one of the important things we really want to talk about is choosing your pallet, or is this really for you? Some things that you want to consider about getting a liquidation pallet, because it's not cheap. If you get lucky and you live in an area where you can go pick up the pallet yourself, you have the ability to do that, whether you can tow it or you can, I don't know, put it in the back of your vehicle, whatever.
Yeah, something.
That's great, but...
Because we had to get it shipped to us, and we paid probably just as much in shipping as we did for the pallet itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we paid literally almost $1,000, wouldn't you say?
I think so, pretty close to it.
Yeah, so almost $1,000 for a pallet. Yep. And you did mention it was manifested, which was nice. So you can kind of get an idea of what, well, supposed to be in there.
Right, yeah, exactly. Yeah, what we read we were getting wasn't quite true, I guess.
You got some, right? And if you've ever seen the TV shows, it's actually real, right? Like if you get a manifest, you look over it, you're trying to decide if it's worth spending the money, right? Like that's the whole point of skewing over a manifest is, do you want to spend your money on this pallet?
Right.
Do you think you can sell those goods?
Yeah. And it's just like anything else, you need to look up comps to see if what you're going to sell is worth anything, what the market is telling you those items or have any value. And the hard part is if you don't get a whole lot of information, it's kind of hard to look up comps if you get partial titles, or it just makes it difficult.
Well, and there's no guarantee it works, to be honest. So you could get something in and it doesn't work, and we test it all out, right? Like we're not going to just put it on there and not know if it works. So,
well, exactly. If it's trash, then it's trash. We're not going to end up selling it. We can't. I mean, that's just not the kind of business we run. Some people may sell stuff for parts or whatever, but if it's not a good that's actually working and functional, then we just found another way to get rid of it.
So you should check out our other video. You can see some of the things that we actually got. But our main point coming on here was if you're really interested in doing pallet, like liquidation pallets, you know, there's a lot of different kind of companies out there. So the one that we chose, you didn't have to, I don't know, how would you say, like sign up or...
Yeah, you didn't have to be a business, although we are. You don't have to give your EIN number or anything like that. You literally could go on their website, see what they have to offer, and purchase it.
So your next door neighbor could be like, hey, I want to buy a pallet. Like,
yeah, which is definitely not the way to go.
No, not if you're really trying to do it for a business. So we kind of wanted to get our feet wet, test it out, see what it was like. And again, the area we live in is not great because there's not a lot there's nowhere around us that we can just go pick that pallet up. We didn't have a choice. We had to have it shipped.
And the thing with shipping, we're not talking about UPS or FedEx dropping it off. Like literally you have to work with a freight company, and a small semi came through our neighborhood to bring me a pallet.
Which is also hard for them to navigate. So again, like when you think about you want to buy a pallet, you need to have the space to put it in. They need to be able to get to you to deliver it because it's likely coming by a semi.
Yep. And they will ask you how much room you have in front of your house, in front of your driveway, if they can get a semi in, like some of these questions. So if you've got a tight spot or not a whole lot of room to move, it's not going to work.
No. So if you have like $10,000 to drop on a truckload of pallets or whatever, then it might be a better option for you, where you can say, you know what, the shipping is going to be worth it because I'm going to pay $500 for shipping
Right.
and it's all the same price, and I'm going to get 10 pallets. Well, that's great.
Yeah.
But if you are working with, which we were, because we kind of already talked about in our business, you know, we use what we make. You know, we didn't have investors or anything like that, so
Exactly.
we could not spend $10,000 on a whole shipment of pallets.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have wanted a whole truckload of
No.
these pallets either.
Because honestly, we really wanted to test it out.
Yeah. So just one other thing on the shipping, something to think about is, do you have a pallet jack? Do you have a way to move pallets? Lucky for us, the guy brought it in. He had a, you know,
Yeah, just
whatever,
a wooden
automated
or
pallet
was
jack that
made
brought it
for-
up. So I tipped the guy pretty good to put it in the garage where I wanted it to move it around. Otherwise, you have a pallet, they drop it off and you're stuck.
Yeah, and then that's it.
Yeah, and then just,
Right,
I mean,
and-
we're talking 1,000 pounds or more.
Yeah.
How are you going to move that if
Yeah.
it's just sitting in your driveway? So,
And then once you get done, you got to break it down. You got to do something with your pallets. If you want to resell them, great, whatever. But so we sifted through.
Right.
So we spent probably almost $1,000 on this pallet, right?
Yep.
And we did have some really good items that got returned. I guess people just didn't want them, whatever, because you don't know why they get returned again. Your manifest doesn't say this works, this doesn't. It's
Oh,
just
exactly.
returned items. You get some things that are opened, used, that's just trash. We threw a good amount away, honestly.
there was a lot we had to get rid of.
Yeah.
It was just not great stuff.
And you know, for us, we're online resellers. We don't go to flea markets. We don't focus on in-person selling.
Right. So a lot of it we had to look at, how heavy is this?
Yeah.
Is this something I want to ship out to somebody else?
That's right.
Because that's another thing we can talk about later is you get processes down. So
Mm.
we know, like now we do clothing.
Yeah.
I use poly mailers. I use certain boxes. I have all those supplies.
Yeah.
You buy something that's a gigantic box or long like a golf club, how are you going to ship that? Like that's a whole nother problem
I
I
know.
run into.
I was gonna say we've
You're like,
gotten
ooh, here's a
creative.
golf club. I'm going to sell this. Well, hey, there's a $15 box
Yeah.
to ship this one thing, and then you end up losing money.
So these big items in these pallets, you know, and we really found out that was not the route for us. It wasn't. I think people can make money in it. I think you could do it. I think you need to have a lot of money up front. And I think you need to be able to even sell in person, honestly,
Right.
to get the best bang for your
I
buck.
think so.
Because
And you have to have storage
Yeah.
too.
a lot of
I mean,
storage.
They take up a lot of room. You need
Mhm.
shelves. You need places to
Yeah.
put these things. And we made it work for this one pallet, but definitely not sustainable for us.
No, I mean, honestly, we ended up selling a lot of our stuff at a garage sale. So we did end up selling a good chunk of it in
Yeah.
person, because it's just, it's hard to go out there and say, okay, this is what you have, or this is, like you said, should be, and the heaviness of it. It's not going to be worth it to sell it, to try to ship it.
Right, you get a good price on something.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to spend double the
No.
money to get it shipped to them. It's just
No.
not feasible for most people.
So that's how we discovered that the liquidation pallets were not for us.
Yep.
I definitely, again, it could be for you. You
It
know,
could.
look into
I
it,
mean-
see what's around you, see what's available.
Exactly. There's people that do it and make
Yeah.
it work, and you got to find the business model that's right for you.
That's
And
right.
You have to try a lot of different things. That's something we've come to figure out. You don't just pick one thing because we tell you this is a good idea. You try stuff out for yourself.
That's
I mean,
right.
it may be great for you, but definitely for us, it wasn't going to work.
You may already have a setup. You may already have something that would really work for that. And if that's the case, then I would recommend you actually look for a supplier that you actually have to go through a process with and get approved by, and have a setup and with them, and not just something that anybody can buy off of. I think that
Right.
it's a better way to go if
Yeah.
that's the route you choose.
And if, like most of these people aren't going to tell you where to go buy the stuff.
No.
So if it's something that I can tell you where to go, or you can do a quick Google search, it's probably not the best company.
No, I mean, honestly, it's not, right? Because, I mean, that's the whole reason they don't tell you. You got to find these things out. But honestly, part of it, too, is you got to come with a lot of money. And that may
Right.
be you. If you got, $10,000+ and you're ready to go, you're ready to start your business, that's fantastic. Search those places out. Try to find somebody that's into what you're into. But for us,
Yep.
it's not the pallets.
No, that was not it.
Well, we just
No.
wanted to share our experience with it and let you guys know that if you think that's something you want to do, really do your research, see what's available to you.
Exactly.
Really try to think about all the different things that come into that type of resale business.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it, and a lot of little things you may not think about. Just storage and
Yeah.
shipping things out. How are you gonna?
Yeah.
You're gonna collect a bunch of boxes.
How good are
and-
you at fixing things?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm looking for stuff to sell. I'm not looking for projects to fix.
Right.
So
Some people are
that's-
into that. But
yeah.
well, thanks for coming in and tuning in tonight. We appreciate it. As always,
like, subscribe.
As my
hit
son
the bell.
says, ring the bell.
Yeah, ring the bell.
Ring the bell.
Ring the bell. Hit the thumb. Do all the things.
If you have any questions or comments, definitely please, drop them below. Let us know. We'll get back to you. We're really passionate about this. If you can't tell, we just really want to share with you what we've experienced, what has worked for us, not worked for us, and things like that.
And we've tried a bunch of different things. So next week we'll hit on another piece of it. We'll continue on.
Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks,
Bye.
guys.